Okay, so the concept of the bill of material, the concept of the assembly time chart, all those things, plus a couple more things, go into an MRP system, all right? So we need the bill of material. We need to know how long it takes, which are lead times for assembly or ordering. We need to know how much amount is on hand. And then another thing we need to know is if we order or make the component, are there any rules around how big the batches are? And those batch sizes are called lot sizes. We need to know the master schedule because that's going to give us the end item demand. And then we need to know scheduled receipts. Scheduled receipts are items that we've already ordered or have started making, but they're not completed. They haven't been finished yet. So we have to keep track of those as well. In terms of what we'll get out from the MRP system, we'll get planned receipts, which it's the amount that we are expecting to receive at the beginning of the period. And then the planned releases are the amount that we expect to order or to make at the beginning of the period. All right. So again, these are just some definitions of some items you'll see on an MRP worksheet. All right, so here's what an MRP record looks like. You can see the first row is the master schedule, okay? And so we're going to work with our example here, and let's say we need 50 A's at the start of week 10. All right? So basically, one product is only going to have one master schedule, and that's going to be for the end item. Now, we're going to assume that A is our end item. All right, so we're going to have a record. This is an MRP record here for A, item A. And so what you do for the end item is you bring down the amount and the period that the end item is needed into the end item of the bill of material. It's a level 0. All right. So that's only for the master schedule. So we're just going to bring this 50 down. Now, we weren't given any scheduled receipts, so there's really nothing that we've ordered or started making already that's not done. But we do know that we have 5 on hand. So again, our net requirement is the same as what we just did in that one example. It's going to be our gross minus our on hand. So we have a 45 net requirement of A's that we either need to make or order. So in order to meet this 45 requirement, we have to plan to receive 45 at the start of week 10. And so with a lead time then of 1 week, we have to release or start working at that order at the beginning of period 9. All right? So this particular example is asking how many E's are needed if 50 A's are scheduled. Now, we already, we'll just work through this example. Okay, so remember E was on level 2. So what we have to do is we have to do MRP records for level 0, level 1, and level 2, because again, we work from the top down when we're doing MRP. So again, we know we need 45, we need to order or start making 45 A's at the beginning of week 9, all right? All right, so now we know that here's B. So remember, hold on a second here. 45, so these are 45 A's, okay? So then we're going to come down, and so there were 45 A's. This should be, sorry, this was in week, this should be week 9, all right? Okay, so we know that there are 2 B's per A. So where did this 90 come from? It came from the A right above it, there were 2 Bs per A, and we needed a planned order release of 45 As in period 9. So what we're going to do to get the children's gross requirements is we're going to multiply, we're going to keep them in the same time period as the parents' planned release, but we're going to multiply them by how many children there are per parent. So that's how we got the 90. We have 5 Bs on hand, so that gives us a net of 85. So we have to plan to receive 85 in week 9. And again, with a 2-week lead time, that means we have to plan to release it in, this should be week 7. Okay. Okay, and then we also know that C is a child of A. Okay, so we had 45 A's in week 9. And if we multiply the 45 times 3 C's per A, we get a gross requirement of C of 135. There are 10 C's on hand, so this gives us a net of 125 C's. Now, C has what's called a lot size. We can only make in, I think it was either 150 or either 75 or 150 batch sizes. So even though we need 125 C's, we have to order in the 150 batch. So we order the 150 batch. It's got a lead time of 1 week, so that means we have to order that at the beginning of week 8. And then we have 25 left over. All right. All right, and then finally, this should be E. It doesn't look like it, but it should be E. All right, and I'm trying to remember here. There were, well, let's just go back here. We have 85 B's and 150 C's. Okay, so we need 2 E's per C. That's where that 300 comes from. And we need how many? Two E's per. I'm sorry. Two B's per E. We have 20 scheduled receipts in period 5. So the rule is you just use those like inventory. So those are going to come in on period 5. We have 5 on hand. So basically, we have 25 projected on hand. So that gives us a net of 145. We have to plan to receive the 145 in period 6. And then with a 2-week lead time, we have to release it in period 4. We use up all our inventory for that first order, so we have 0 left. And again, we need a net of 300. We have to plan to receive that 300 week 7. And again, we have to start making it 2 weeks in advance so that it's ready by the time we need it. So we're going to release that order in week 5. Okay, so this probably is it may be a little confusing to you, and I apologize for that. But again, this is how these MRP records work. So what I'd recommend is you go through an example in the book, and it'll, again, explain how the records work between each other and how you, you use scheduled receipts and on-hand amounts to get your net requirements. Okay, but basically what the MRP system will do is it'll just give out planned releases. So if I'm a department running E's, all I'm going to get from the MRP system is I need to start making 145 in week 4, and I need to start making 300 in week 5. All right, because again, we're now to, like, this goes to a specific department that only makes E's. And so that's all I'm going to see. I'm not going to see this whole thing. I'm just going to see, the results of what the record of the system tells me I need to order. Okay, so this week is just learning a little bit about MRP and how we manage components. Just as a friendly reminder, your Chapter 14 homework is due this Sunday, and then your second quiz, which will be on chapters 12 and 14, will be available first thing Saturday morning, I promise, and it'll be due by midnight on Sunday night. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Happy to answer them either on the discussion board or you can email me directly. And I hope you have a great week and enjoy MRP. I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.